Good morning. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Rise and shine. Come on in. Like the video. Share the video. Subscribe to the channel. Welcome, welcome, welcome to those who are new to my channel. I am yours truly, Chic. My channel is Chic Speaks on it. We talk all things politics over here. Good morning. Good morning. We got some things to get into. It's been a lot going on around here. I don't even know when I think our last one live Friday. Friday night. We did a Friday night live, I think. Charlie's days starting to run together, but I think we did a big one on Friday. Come on in. I want to talk all things Trump, in particular immigration, illegal immigration. It's rough out here. It's rough and tough. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Just say when. Good morning, Rizza. My mods done beat my people in here. I ain't seen that happen in a while. Normally, y'all be like, listen, sheep. I mean, I was listening, but I was driving. I was just hoping folks had some act right. Y'all listen, I'm gonna work today. Good morning. Thanks, y'all. Listen, we got all these versions of Alcatraz opening up. All the versions of Alcatraz opening up. We got one in the south, one in the west coast. New York, they got Rikers Island, but listen, they ain't trying to let the Trump administration come nowhere near that place. We gonna talk about it today because it's going down in New York. I learned this morning that there was a ICE agent, a federal y'all. So y'all need to understand that a ICE agent is a federal agent. So you can do something if you want to one of them agents. You can do something if you want to, because you're gonna get damn locked up forever, ever, forever, ever. Put your hands and feet on the ICE agent and just gonna let Border Czar Tom Homan or what's that lady, Christy Nome lady. They're gonna tell you what's gonna happen to you. You mess around, put hands, feet, bullets, or anything on an ICE agent. Because that is what happened over the weekend. Over the weekend, y'all, an ICE agent was shot. Y'all, they say he was shot in the face. Where else he was shot? Let me see. I know they say he took one in I think it was the face and the arm. They said he gonna live, but he laid up somewhere in a hospital in New York right now. That was on Saturday. Just right around midnight on Saturday. What they say? What they say about this man? He was with a woman. He was shot in the face and the arm, y'all, by a 21-year-old illegal immigrant. Now, this illegal immigrant, he's undocumented, but he has a criminal record. Like, he has a history of just doing the absolute most. So the Trump administration is blaming Mayor Eric Adams because New York is a sanctuary city. So they like, listen, player, if you would have had this on wrap and not allow these people to just be here, just run amok, stuff like this wouldn't be happening on the level in which it is. So they blaming Eric Adams, and then of course they're blaming Joe Biden, President Joe Biden. They're blaming him because they like, listen, player, you should have had these borders under control and regulated. But because you didn't, this is the type of stuff that we're dealing with. And they said the violence onto Their agents, these federal agents, ICE agents, it's up by like 830%. That's huge. 830% violence. It's crazy, yo. Hopefully they're not going to shadow ban my channel again. Looking at the numbers, they're way low, but we're going to keep going. They're going to keep going. But yes, YouTube will shadow ban my channel, meaning that they won't like let people know that I am live. So they did that about a week or so ago, but we're going to see how it goes. But yes, so there was an ICE agent who was attacked. It looks like it was an attempted robbery onto him and the woman he was with. Now, whether or not these two individuals that rode up on him and his friend, whether or not they knew that he was an ICE agent or not, that's really not known right now because he was off duty. But when they rode up on him, he was able to pick up that, oh snap, they trying to rob us. And he had his servant, he had his weapon on him. And basically, child, was a shootout. They were shooting at him, he was shooting at them. He got shot in the face and the arm. But one of the perpetrators, a 21-year-old, he was shot in the groin and the leg. So he and the other perpetrator, they managed to make their way to a nearby hospital. So that's basically how they were caught, looking on the cameras and things like that, surveilling the area. And there were the two men who just showed up at a hospital seeking medical treatment. So they have the 21-year-old in custody. Sounds like, he's the one who pulled the trigger. 21 years old. 21 years old. The ICE agent, he's in the hospital. They said he's expected to survive, but it's just a sad situation. It's a sad situation. Our ICE agents, people don't want to see our ICE agents heavy on these streets, but at the same time, these sanctuary cities, i.e. New York, they won't allow for us to go into like Rikers Island where we know there are criminals there, illegal immigrants. They won't let us go in there. So what that means is that since we can't go into that controlled environment, this is what they're saying. Since we cannot go into the controlled environment where the criminals are residing, we have to wait until they hit the streets and be waiting for them on the streets in their neighborhood. So when that's happening, that's also creating opportunities for other people to get arrested because they're illegal. They may not have committed a criminal act outside of just being here illegally. But he's like, if we're going to arrest someone who has done a criminal act while here in the US, if they are with other people who we've deemed as being or identified as being illegal, we will arrest them too. Y'all see how this works? So they're like, if y'all don't want us in the face of those people, allow us to come into the environment where the actual criminals who are outright doing just egregious things, let us come into those environments where they are. Therefore, we don't have to be around or go looking for the other people. Let us just come to where the criminals at, period. Like, don't have us go out there and happen to go look for them, because when we're going to look for them, we're coming across other people too that are, I call it catching a stray. They're getting caught up because they're in the vicinity with somebody who's done a criminal act. See what I'm saying? So this is what's happening. But they're like, yo, like, we got to round these people up. And they were like, Sheik, I need you to clear something else up for me too. Y'all listening? They said, stop with the lies with saying that most of the people that we are rounding up, that we are arresting, are not criminals. Border Czar Tom Homan said that's not true. He said that is so far from the truth. He said that's not true. Let's see. What did he say? He said that they've had 130,000 arrests for illegal immigrants. 90,000 of them were criminals. So he's saying that's like 70% of the arrests are actual criminals. This is what Border Czar Tom Homan said. This is underneath the Trump administration. Good morning, Virtuous. Good morning. Good morning. Hopefully, it ain't gonna be too crazy today, this morning in the chat, because it looks like YouTube is kind of blocking my my live. So you shouldn't probably see a whole lot of people come in here. The most I've seen is like it's 26 people in right now. Super low. Y'all know that's norm. That's like we'd be hell over 100 by now. But I'm gonna talk my talk and get this message out. Violence against ICE agents up over 830% right now. How do y'all feel about that? I live in Atlanta, Georgia. A lot of people want to know, oh, where do you live? Okay, I live in Atlanta, Georgia. I learned today that the CEO of MARTA, so MARTA is like the transit system that Atlanta has. California has what they call BART. Atlanta has MARTA. The CEO of MARTA, what was his name? Colin Coat. Let me see what this man's name is, y'all. I had to clutch my invisible pearls on this one. What's this man's name? Collie Greenwood. Collie Greenwood. Collie Greenwood we'll say was, up until probably some days ago, was the CEO of MARTA here in Atlanta. He became the CEO in October 2022. Child, Collie ain't got his paperwork in order. Collie said, listen, y'all ain't finna send me to Alligator Alcatraz, and I heard y'all planning on trying to open up Alcatraz in San Francisco. So let me help you out. Okay, no, my ain't in order. I had a visa, the green card. It just expired. Like it just expired in June. It just expired. I'm just gonna go ahead and roll up out here. I'm gonna go ahead and take my ass back to Canada. He's Canadian. He going back to Canada, y'all. Collie Greenwood said, I'm going back to Canada. And make sure y'all give me my $1,000 when I self-deport. Because y'all, there's a $1,000 bonus when you self-deport. But you need to make your way back to your country. Get on this app that they got out there. You gotta get on the app and say, yo, I made it. Through the app, they can confirm if you actually made it. Then they'll go ahead and give you your $1,000. So this CEO like, yo, run me my money, run me my coin, because I'm about to not have a job any damn way. I don't even know how much the man was making, but it was at least six figures. He's a CEO, so probably we going with seven figures. He the CEO. He was the CEO. Black guy, Collie Greenwood. So Marta's like, he's not here illegally, but his green card expired. I don't know what you classify as illegal, y'all. I don't know. Y'all can help me understand. Help me, help you, help me, help you. Okay, you're legal if you got something. So he had a green card. He came over here with a green card many, many years ago, I guess, because this man been over here forever. Like he's been here. He's got like, how many years? This man got 37 years working in the transit. Now, I don't know if all of them years was over here. I'm assuming they were all. I don't know if it's a combined him being his. I don't know what kind of transit system Canada has. I've never been to Canada, so I'm a bucket list. But when I was looking on the web, Marta's site or whatever, it said that he has 37 years. He's a 30 of transit experience. So I'm like, with him, has he been over here in the U.S. that long? Has he been over here in the U.S. that long? 37 years? Because that was my initial thought, was that man the CEO of MARTA up until recent days, because he gonna self-deport because he's not legal. Because MARTA Holland, well, yeah, his visa or his green card, whatever the heck he had, it expired. But he not here illegally. Well, hell, if he's still here after the expiration date, don't that turn into illegal? I don't know, y'all. I'm just trying to understand. Y'all help me understand, because I was shit. I'm FBA. I'm a foundational Black American, so y'all, I don't know. Y'all gonna have to help me out. If you here after your paperwork expire, so let's just say, I think it's say his paperwork expired on June 18th. Today is July 22nd. Are we illegal now? I don't know. Are we illegal now? Paperwork expired June 18th, 2025. Today is July 22nd, 2025. Are we illegal? I don't know, y'all. Are we illegal? Let me know. Let me know. Are we illegal? Because it's a situation with the CEO of MARTA. The CEO of MARTA. Anybody been in Atlanta? A lot of you may have experienced MARTA, the transit system that Georgia has. This was the head honcho. He was the general manager and CEO, y'all. I said, well, damn, he got him. Is that 2 checks? They said the general manager and CEO. I said, oh, okay. So yeah, he gonna need that $1,000 bonus for when he go back to Canada, because he not taking that check with him. I'm just saying. Because Marta like, yo, I mean, yeah, his paperwork expired, but he not here illegally. His paperwork expired June 18th. So he went ahead and said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and step down, or what? I'm going to go ahead and step down. In 2024, he was named Atlanta's magazine Atlanta 500 and the 100 most influential Georgians. So y'all, we got immigrants here who are now illegal immigrants on the 100 most influential list in Georgia. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? Basically, this list is saying this is who you need to aspire to be like. This is who you need to aspire to be like. Carly Greenwood, the CEO that is about to self-deport because, according to the Trump administration, he is here illegally. So he about to be up out of here, y'all. He gone. So if y'all want to send Carly off with a farewell message, you can go find him, Google him. Carly, Collie, Greenwood. Send him a little note. Wish him the best. Safe travels back home to Canada, because he's getting up on out of here. He's getting up on out of here. So Carly, he's the CEO of MARTA here in Atlanta, Georgia, where I reside. MARTA is a MARTA Transit. It's a local transit system that we have here. Bertrand said, bye-bye. Listen, send that man a note. He got to get on these flights. Y'all know these flights be shaky these days. Yeah. Y'all know these flights be shaky. They really finna be shaky, because it seems like, if you over in Mexico, don't think you finna be just coming back and forth from Mexico to the U.S. Trump them got something in place to where y'all like these flights ain't coming out of Mexico like that. So peep game, listen. If y'all in Mexico and you trying to get back to the US, this is what you likely gonna have to do. You're gonna have to fly into another location so you can not leave. Basically, you need to fly somewhere else outside of Mexico and make sure that Trump said they able to come into the US. Because right now, from my understanding, that there are flights, many of flights that are being stopped um, for people traveling from Mexico. And they say that Mexico is the most, outside of the US, the most visited country. Mexico is the most visited country. What they say? They said it's probably like it's like over 1 million people or something like that. That's over Americans that are like over in Mexico, some like crazy number like that. But right now, there's something going on centered around the airport. So look into that, you all. If you do have trips planned to go to Mexico, I I visited parts of Mexico last year, but I went on a cruise. So if you're planning to visit Mexico and you're going to try to go, fly, look into the what's going on centered around flights going into Mexico. I heard like in the news report, Delta's name came up, basically saying, "Yo, like, I'm gonna need for you." Just Trump administration's message is, "I'm gonna need for you to abide by these rules that I'm putting in place, centered around flights going in, in out of Mexico like that." So look into that. Look into that. It's something I just learned about um, over the weekend, or maybe even yesterday. So get into that so you don't be stuck like Chuck, because it's a lot of people, a lot of Americans over there in Mexico, digital nomads. They over there working, whatever, and they're expecting to be able to come back to their home country whenever. But right now, with the politics is politicking these days. You don't want to mess around and leave the U.S. and go to a place that got beef with the U.S. and you F around and find out at the airport when they not trying to let you back in. There's a lot of stories like that where people have gotten caught up while outside of the US, doing whatever, visiting whatever. They thinking, hey, I took a trip, I'm heading back, and the head back little experience ain't the same. It's just a little different these days, y'all. When what's up, Trofer? It's a little different these days, y'all, with the coming back experience. It's not hard. It seems like getting out of here, but it's been a challenge for a good number of people when trying to enter back, into the U.S. And for those of you who aren't like American, like, here's my thing. If you somebody that's operating off of some type of special citizenship, visa, green card, whatever, you might want to sit the hell down right now and not be doing a lot of moving around. I'm just going to say that. If you want somebody who was born on the land of the USA, I don't think this is the time to be trying to just jet set. Like, I don't think it's too soon. Like, this isn't the time, because right now it's it's not hard for this current administration to find a reason to say, nah, you need to stay over there. You can't come back over here. Y'all see what I'm saying? Like, hell, you got some people who from here, like Rosie O'Donnell, who Trump trying to say, bitch, we don't want you. You can't come back here. You know what I'm saying? She from here. So imagine for those who are not from the U.S., you're leaving and trying to come back, the challenges that you could possibly endure. I'm just saying, I would just chill with the jet set. Like, just don't be doing too much, because what the Trump administration is also doing, what I've learned, they're paying attention to how frequently you're going in and out of the U.S. They trying to see what you're doing. Like, okay, you going to Jamaica? Oh, okay. I see you've been over here 3 times already, over to Jamaica 3 times already. What's that about? What is Topher said we don't nobody don't want Rosie back. So they're looking at your because they can see, your stamps, they can see like where you been, how off, they can see all of that. So they got questions. They're like, okay, what we doing? We're not trafficking, are we? Like, what are we doing? Why are we going back and forth like this? Why? So they're asking a lot of questions, and a lot of people are feeling uncomfortable, afraid. So that's why I'm saying, like, just don't just be doing too much. Just don't be doing too much. Just be mindful. And this is for mainly those people who are born American citizens and they here in the US on some type of paperwork. I'm just saying. Just be careful. Just be mindful of that. Just be mindful of that. That's all. You just listen. Because the last thing you want to do is be stuck like Chuck over somewhere and you trying to get back and you cannot. You cannot. You stuck over there. They like, nah, just go ahead and stay over here. That is happening to a lot of people. That is happening to a lot of people. So you might have went over there and your kids, your loved ones are still here in the US and they're like, nah, we want to keep you over here because maybe they're not here for the story you're giving as to why you were even over there in the first place. Y'all know we in different times. We are in different times. This current administration did not come to play. This current administration did not come to play when it comes to this whole immigration situation. And I'm here for that, which is why I voted for this, centered around just getting this illegal immigration situation together. This is what I voted for because it was out of control. It's out of control. I done told y'all the 21-year-old then doggone pulled a pew pew out on the ICE agent, shot him in the face and the arm, and now he laid up in a hospital in New York. Don't ask me what hospital he at. I just know the man is in New York. The man is in New York fighting to live. They're saying he should survive, but who knows? It's given that if he comes out of this, the career of ICE agent is like behind him. The career of an ICE agent is likely behind this man. Getting shot in the face and the arm, that sounds like a career ending injury to me when you're in law enforcement. I'm just saying. So this is that time, and it was by the perpetrator, the illegal immigrant, was only 21 years old. They were like, his record, he had gotten caught up in illegal activity, criminal activity back in 2023. And the Biden administration still allowed for him to be around. Mayor Eric Adams still allowed for him to be protected in the city of New York. Like, y'all, this is crazy. Y'all, this is what I call, like, what I say, common sense politics, because to me it is common sense to want to have some type of order centered around illegal immigration. See, that's common sense. Like, this is no different than any other country when it comes to how they manage their immigration system. Like, it's just common sense. You want to know who's in your country, so when things go left, things go down, like, all right, then these people right here came on this day, this activity took place. You can, there's a paper trail, timeline, something. But when you got open borders, that means you have no inventory on who's here. That's like you leaving your front door to your home open and people can go in and out. Something comes up missing and you don't have a clue as to who took it. How would you if you know you had the doors open for anybody to come in and out? How do you narrow down who took it? Versus if your doors were closed and locked and the only people who were able to come in your house were by invite only. So therefore, you now have what we can call a short list to review to determine who did what. Y'all see what I'm saying? This is that common sense ish that I be talking about over here. It don't be that deep over here, y'all. This ish over here with me and these damn car rides, me my walk and talk. Anytime I'm over here talking, it be heavily in common based on common sense. This is common sense stuff. It's not that deep. It's not that deep. You need to know and understand who's in your home. The U.S. is our home. As American citizens, the U.S. is our home. Do you not want to know who is in your home? Who's around your children, your loved ones? I want to know. It's so disheartening when we'll hear in the news about how somebody who wasn't invited, because I call the people who are here illegally uninvited, they're harming people. They're taking people's lives. How many times we've heard, say, centered around a car accident or something, or a hit and run or something, the perpetrator was someone who was an illegal immigrant, didn't have license, registration, undocumented. There are so many stories. Literally, true story. So I live in Georgia. Georgia is a state, we have a lot of, a lot of immigrants. I'll say that. We have a lot of immigrants. And I remember during, so let me see, this would have been in the early 2000s. My sister, she had gotten hit by someone who was deemed to be an illegal immigrant. It was like a hit and run, jacked her car all up. She had to pay to get it fixed, all of that. She had, I want to say she had maybe liability on the car only at the time. So, when you have and she was young parent, just trying to make it do what it do. Working a job, paying daycare, and now she has a vehicle to try to fix. I remember, y'all, child, it took my sister probably about 3 months, y'all, to get her money all the way together to pay to get this car fixed. Remember, she was hit by a legal, they hit her and ran. She was able to see who was the driver. It was a person of Hispanic descent. They hit her, took off. Safe to assume they were here illegally, because more often than not, when the hit and runs take place on that type of level, that is the situation when you catch up with them. She took about 3 months. It took her about 3 months, maybe even longer than that. I know it was a good minute for her to get her money together to fix this car. Do y'all know, soon as she got that car fixed, I want to say maybe 3 days later, I don't even think, child, it was a week. I want to say it was about 3 days. Do y'all know somebody else hit her? Another one hit her that resulted in the car getting totaled out. Y'all, she had just got the vehicle out the shop that she had to pay for, because an illegal immigrant, someone of a Hispanic descent, hit her. She seen them. Child, I live in Georgia. They deep here in Georgia. If you know, you know. They hit her. She had to pay to get it fixed. It took months. I remember, y'all, she was maybe like 23. She was young at this time, trying to just make it, take care of her baby, take care, pay rent. And she had this car that she had to fix because she didn't have the means to go out and get another one. So she's like, yo, I got to just try to pay this money to fix my car. And it took her a long time, I remember. But what I really remember is how she literally only had the car out of the shop for a matter of days before somebody else on goddamn Buford Highway. If you know, you know. I live in Georgia. Let me know in the chat you know about Buford Highway in Georgia. Buford Highway is this long ass street. They call it a highway, but it's like a street. And it's nothing but just Hispanics. They just sold up. You want you something that the Hispanics provide, like that's where you go. So if you need you something that comes from that culture, Buford Highway is where you trying to go. Buford Highway. I want to say, hell, the first time when the person hit her was on the same highway, because it probably was the path or the way she got to go to work. Yes. Days after getting her car off the shop, hit another hit and run. That time the car got totaled out. Y'all, I'm just gonna say this particular sister, every single action she's had has been a situation like that. Let me tell you about another situation she got into coming off of that one. She was in a parking garage going to the doctor's office. She's parked. After she gets out of her car, this person who's given illegal immigrant, Hispanic male, a woman, and a child, he drives up in his big pickup truck and he squeezes into the parking spot next to her, and he ended up basically on top of her car partially with, because it was damn too little for him to squeeze. Somehow the damn listen somehow his damn deal end up on top of hers. Then she say they get out the car and proceed to try to still walk to go to their appointment as if they vehicle ain't on top of hers. Can y'all picture this ish? Now, let me damn pay. Imagine you in a damn parking garage. You parked, another vehicle come on the side of you. They parked, they all up on top of your ish. They get out the car like they Gucci and they going into their appointment because they probably already running late. And you gotta be like, wait a damn minute, player. I'ma need for you to circle back around. Player. Player. This is a universal word. You gonna understand that in any language. When I hit you with player. She started talking about, I'm about to call them folks because you playing with me. I ain't got time for this. I'm sick of y'all. He then started going in his pocket trying to pay her cash. Cause y'all, how many of y'all experienced that? They gonna come through with that cash. They gonna be like, listen, I don't know nothing about insurance, but I know about green. They know about player and they know about green. Hit them with a player. They gonna understand that and they gonna know about green. He started going through his pockets like, yo, what you need? How much you say it's gonna cost to fix your car? She called them folks like, F you, Jorge, F you. She called them folks. Police came. The man was here. Everything. Nothing legit. No paperwork. No nothing. I done told y'all how I go down here in Georgia. I done told y'all. That man got hauled off by the popo. Riding dirty. Hauled off. My mama got caught up in a hit and run by a girl, a female. Because y'all know they don't be speaking English. When you be trying to have a conversation, they don't know no English. That's what I'm telling y'all. Hit their asses with player. They gonna understand what you mean in. Hit them with player. They gonna understand what you mean. They gonna know, oh shit. They about business. Hit them with player. Player, they understand, and green, they understand. My mama got, young girl, hit and run again. My mama chased the girl down while she was on the phone with the popos. She finally pulled the young girl when she seen my mama behind her, finally pulled over. She finally pulled over, but that's because she seen like, oh shit, this a different type of person. This woman, listen, my mama chased her down. Like, oh hell no, what you not finna do? She followed her while on the phone with the police. That's when the only reason why the girl stopped, because she seen she was being followed. This is what I'm talking about. So this is how it goes down in Georgia. How does it go down in your parts? Because in Georgia, listen, they will hit you, keep the hell on going, park on the side of you, be all up on top of your ish like a doggone what y'all did with them remind me of, y'all remember them big old monster trucks? Because when my sister was telling me the story where how the man truck was all up on her car, I couldn't help but to think about the big monster trucks. Because I'm from California, from the Bay Area. I grew up going to see like the monster truck shows. I would go see the wrestling shows. Stepdaddy was into all of that. So we was into it. And so it reminded me of the big monster truck show with a truck driving all up on top of the cars and stuff, because the way she said that truck was on top of her little car. But this is stuff that I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. So this is how it goes down. But I know it's not just in Georgia, but I'm just telling y'all because that's where I reside. This is how it goes down. And it's very disheartening, unfortunate, to be done wrong, and then the person held on, and then you're left having to deal with the aftermath. There's no insurance for your insurance company to go after. So guess what? Your insurance have to cover it. And Lord forbid you were like, say, my sister the first time around, and you mess around and only got liability. Because if you got liability, like that's not covering your vehicle. That's covering the third part, the other vehicle. So if there isn't another vehicle involved and your vehicle is left needing to be repaired, then you are SOL. You are SOL. So a lot of people get caught up in situations like this. This is why I am in support of controlling these borders. This is why. Because the examples I've given you just from just my circle, my life, my family members, fortunately, it wasn't their life. It could have been, because anytime you're dealing with a car accident, but that wasn't the outcome. But think about all the stories where the outcome was someone's life being taken. Somebody's life being taken. And then you got these sanctuary cities that are like, well, they got rights too. And okay, but who are we protecting more, our own or the outsiders? Like, really think about that. Who is our allegiance to? Are we more concerned about the people who are from the outside having rights than the people who are here at home? Like, make it make sense. That's like the neighbor's kids. You treat the neighbor's kids better than your own kids. You only got a little bit of food, but you feeding the neighbor's kids, and you tell your kids, well, it ain't no more. You'll be all right. You'll get some the next go around. Like, think about that, y'all. This ain't that deep over here. It's basic common sense. This is common sense type stuff. We're not taking care of home. The U.S. for a long time have been taking care of everybody except for the American people the way in which they should. You can tell that by looking at the homeless numbers. There's that. Bump what I'm saying. Just look around. Look around. The homelessness lets you know. How are we the richest country of all the land, but our homelessness look the way it looks? Like, make it make sense. Do we got it or not? Because it's given that we ain't got nothing based off of how our streets look with the people living on them. So do we really have it? Or is it cap? Stop the cap. Like, no, I believe we got it. It just comes down to how we want to spend the money. Y'all, how about with this? Let's talk about alligator Alcatraz. Come on in here, y'all. Double tap the screen, like this video. Not alligator. Well, let me see. Alligator Alcatraz, for those of you who don't know, that is a project that costs $2 billion. That'll be $2 billion a year. So if you want to know how much it costs to keep that going, that's $2 billion. $2 billion a year. Alcatraz in San Francisco, it's their President Trump is really, really considering opening up Alcatraz again. He hasn't, from my understanding, from my research as of this morning before I went live, he hasn't made a decision yet. But if it were to open, it would cost about $2 billion just to get it up to par to open it. Then you got to pay, to keep it going. So word on the curve is that Trump is really thinking about, like, with the money, the investment, is it going to be worth it? Wait a minute. Alligator Alcatraz, I think that one's going to be $2 million. I think it's going to be $2 million a year to keep that to keep that going. But Alcatraz in San Francisco, on Alcatraz Island, Alcatraz Federal Prison, that closed in 1963, it will cost about $2 billion for that. So Trump has to determine, like, whether or not that's going to be, smart to do that because of how expensive it's going to be. So that's what I'm hearing, like what the situation is with that, as they try to just, because they're going to have, they're going to get like um contractors and things like that. So it's going to be people bidding on it, all of that. It's going to be very expensive. It's going to be very expensive to do. But it's something that's been strongly 2 million. Terry, you said 2 million a year to keep the detention center running. Yeah, that's what they got out there in the news. 2 million to keep it running for every year annually. Yes, and that's the Floridians, they're paying for that through their tax, and then half of that is being paid for by FEMA. So FEMA is paying half, and then the other part is coming from the Floridians, the taxpayers. They're paying that. So yeah, look into that, because I've talked about alligator Alcatraz several times. But I think it's 2 million, not 2 billion, but I think it's 2 million annually for that. But what I do know with the Alcatraz on Alcatraz Island, that's 2 billion with a B. I just saw that this morning. 2 billion. And Trump is wondering, like, maybe that's going to be too much. I don't know. I don't know about that. So, remember, I'm from California. So, like, I've learned, recently, like, family members in California are like, yo, the people in California are not here for Alcatraz opening again as a federal prison. They're not here for that. They're not here for that. Alcatraz ran from 1934 to 1963. So that's like 29 years that it was in operation. And the reason why it closed was because of the high cost of the operation. So the Bay Area, the salt water. So the salt water was deteriorating the structure. And then you got to pay to kind of fix things and all of that. So that's when they were like, you know what? We can't with this. Also, since it was on an island, you have to import like food, like you had to have all these things imported, waste got to be exported, like y'all, like it's just a lot of moving parts, and you got to pay for all of that. So it's just expensive and costly. So they were like, yo, let's just do away with it. So in 1963 they went ahead and did away with Alcatraz. And then I didn't know up until recently that I had been operating as, I guess, a museum. You can go, I guess you can tour. It's a museum or something. But now that's going to, I think the funding and things like that is going to stop for that to free it up. So therefore, I guess it can become available again as an option for prisoners to be sent to. So that's where we are with that, with Alcatraz Island right now. Trump is strongly considering opening it again and having it operate as a federal prison in the state of California. Look into that. I would imagine, I mean, since it's in California with your prisons and all of that, I imagine, well, it's fed. I guess it's coming from federal funds. Because I was wondering, like, okay, are the locals paying for that? But if it's federal, I guess that's the federal funds that it's coming from. So I guess the people from California wouldn't be paying for that. I guess we all collectively would be paying for it, since it's coming, it's a federal prison, not a state prison. But it's gonna have a hefty price tag. But Trump's trying to find a place to send these people, especially for people when, with him running into these walls when it comes to him trying to send them to other countries or even back to their own country. That's why they starting back talking again about that $1,000 self-deportation bonus. They started offering that some months back. I talked about it on my channel, but they're talking about it again. They're like, because y'all, they said it cost $17,000 to. So let me paint the picture. When they're in their process of rounding up illegal immigrants, it's a price, it's a cost to that. You got to arrest them, right? You got to detain them, and you got to remove them. The Trump administration is saying that the arrests, the detainment, and the removal, that's $17,121 per person that it costs to do that for those 3 stages. So they're like, listen, Linda, listen. Help me, help you. How about you self-deport? You get on this app called CBP Home App. You let us know that you've arrived, you've made it to your home country. We confirm it, and we pay you a $1,000 bonus. That's what they're calling it, a bonus. This is what they're pushing because it costs a lot of money to get to pick up these illegal immigrants. It's expensive, y'all. This ain't free. And who paying for it? We are. We're paying for it. But would we rather pay for them to do all of this, or for the illegal immigrants to continue to be in the U.S. and have access to these resources that we're paying into? Over time, that is going to be far more than $17,000 per person. Think about it. You got people, I done told y'all, the MARTA CEO had 37 years of transit work history. So it's very likely that all those 37 years was here in the US, since MARTA had it on their website. Like, I don't know if any of that was part, any of that work history went back to Canada. It didn't say that. It just said, listen, he got 37 years of work history in transit. That is why he's our general manager and CEO. Y'all, he was the GM and the CEO. So, look how many years this man could have been here. How much money and resources? How much money? What's up, Tim? How much money and resources are used for someone who's here illegally for 10, 20, 30 years? It's going to be more than $17,000. I'm going to tell you that. All right, Virtuous. It's going to be more than $17,000. I tell you that. So I would rather our administration invest in getting this under control and deporting than to just allow for our borders to remain open and this free for all for any and everybody to come through. Child, they getting free education, everything. Government cheese, food stamps, Section 8, like they getting everything. They're getting everything. And what are you getting? Many American citizens, we're getting told, no, we ain't got it. Nope, nope, no, no. The other universal word, I told y'all, player is universal, and no is universal along with the green. We're being told no. So even if you don't speak English, you speak whatever, no is no. We're being told no. We ain't got it. Have you seen the debt lately? But everybody else, they get this yes. They get the yes. So yes, I'm here for getting this under control because it's out of control. It's beyond out of control, you all. It's beyond out of control. It's been beyond out of control for many, 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 many years. And right now, it's under the most control that it's been since Tom Homan said he's been working for ICE since what, the 80s, early 80s, 82, 83. Right now, no one's getting through the borders. It's at a 100% lockdown. Nobody's getting through. That's amazing. Nobody's getting through the borders illegally. Why shouldn't that be the norm? Like, y'all, when you really think about it, that's like it not being the norm for somebody to be coming into your house all willy-nilly, just walking through your front door. Shouldn't that be the norm, that that doesn't happen because your door is closed and locked? It should be abnormal that somebody is freely walking in your house, right? That should be the abnormal part. Like, the hell you got going on? What you mean that these people just coming in and out of the house? Okay, talk to me about what you got going on over there. That should be the abnormal part, right? But in our country, it's like the abnormal part is us having closed, secure borders. The abnormal part is having closed, secure borders. Ain't that some ish? For that to be abnormal, for that to have to be something to be discussed to make the news that people aren't coming over here illegally. Crazy, yo. Don't that sound crazy? But listen, I just report the news. This is what's going on out here in these streets. So right now, the Trump administration, when it comes to this illegal immigration, they're trying to create a new norm, which is to not have open borders, to not allow for any and everybody to freely enter into the United States. That is the new norm. That is the new norm they're trying to create. People are still struggling with the idea of getting used to that. Y'all, I seen a news clip with this one woman, it's a black woman, arguing with Jillian Michaels. Y'all know the fitness influencer Jillian Michaels. Jillian Michaels was on some show. I'm not even sure what the network was. But Jillian was talking to these people about how people, illegal or not, cannot assault ICE agents. And how these workers cannot, these agriculture workers or any workers cannot be allowing for minors 14 years old to be working at marijuana farms. She literally had to argue this point to this black woman who said, well, I mean, agriculture work, there's no age restriction. So the black woman, I can't remember what her name was. The black woman's argument was, well, there's no age restriction to agriculture work. Jillian says, okay, but you're sitting up here telling me that it is okay for a 14-year-old to work at a marijuana farm unaccompanied by, like, this is what we doing right now? Y'all be telling y'all, I be telling y'all, it's common sense politics. She literally was trying to convince this woman how it was not okay for a 14-year-old child to work at in a marijuana field unaccompanied by an adult. Like, what the freak? Like, what? I had secondhand embarrassment for this woman. I told y'all she was a black woman, so she looked like me. And Jillian Michaels, a whole white woman, sitting up here telling her, ma'am, do you hear what you're saying? And all that woman wanted to sit in is, well, it's not against the law to, there's no age restriction for agriculture. She done skirted all over the part of the minors. That woman done skirted all over that. Like, she just don't even, like, so we just not going to talk about these 14-year-olds work. We just going to, okay. So this is what's going on in these political streets out here, y'all. Y'all, people be saying this stuff with their chest too, like they doing the doggone thing. Like, yep. I was like, yo, I don't know. The U.S. is definitely in bad shape. The U.S. is definitely in bad shape for many reasons. This whole illegal immigration situation is just one reason. It's just one reason. We got to get it together, because this right here, this nonsense, this act of, like, we can't use common sense and discernment, is leading us to the pits of hell. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. And these will be the same people to where if something happened to them or their loved one at the hands of somebody who was illegal, they will be the main ones screaming from the rooftop on how the current administration, the local police, whoever didn't do what they were supposed to do to protect them or their love. Like, they will be the main ones. Like, what the, like, you can't have it both ways. You either want to be protected or not. Like, what do you want? You can't say no, let them be, but then when they do something to you or your loved one, then you want to be looking around and trying to see who you can hold accountable and trying to file lawsuits and saying, well, why was this person, because y'all know the main argument be, well, why was this person on the streets? If they had a rap sheet a mile long, why were they on the street? Y'all know it comes up anytime somebody do something. We learn what their background was or is. You're like, well, why? You start asking questions. But when you can't ask questions is when you are pro these type of people being able to be out here on these streets. Like, you can't have it both ways. Like, you want to be protected or you don't. You can't say protect me, but then when they try to put checks and balances in place to do that, you do everything you can to go against it. But then when something happens, well, the police did, you didn't yell from the rooftops, defund the police. Then when something go down and get funky, then you looking for the police and wondering why the hell it took so long for them to come, or hell, why didn't they come, period. It's that stuff I be talking about. That stuff I be talking about. All right, then. Thank you so much, Virtuous. This is that stuff that be talking about. Have a good day. You can't have it both ways. You want to be protected or not. You can't say, hey, defund this, but then when go left and go wrong, you looking for those same resources to come to your rescue. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, y'all, like, am I missing? What part am I missing on this? Like, it doesn't make sense. And this is what I see. And a lot of this rhetoric is coming from these Democratic ran states. I done told y'all, pay attention to how a Democratic ran state, pay attention to how a state that's identified as a Democrat state and a state that is identified as a Republican state. Pay attention to how the two states are run. And what I want you to pay attention to, I want you to pay attention to just the economy, the politics, the crime rate, the quality of education, uh, public resources. These are the things that when I say I want you to pay attention to as you compare a Democrat ran state versus a Republican ran state. I promise you, you will see a difference. You're going to see a difference. Compare how California is run and how New York is run and how Chicago, Illinois is ran. Compare that to how Georgia is ran. Compare that to how Florida is ran. Texas. Like, do the comparison for those different areas that I talked about. Crime, education, economic resources, jobs. Like, compare. Law, regulation. Like, what I've come to see is that the states that are Republican ran states, red states, they're ran more efficiently than the Democrat states. Listen, I'm just saying, do your own research, come to your own conclusion. I'm just saying, food for thought. Go check it out, look into it. Who's calling themselves sanctuary cities? Is it Democrat ran states or Republican ran states? I'm just asking the questions. Y'all go do the researching and get your answers. That's all I'm saying. Which one would you rather live in if you had a choice? Which one would you rather live in? There's something to that. There's something to that. You rather live in Texas or you rather live in New York? You rather live in California? You rather live in Georgia? Like, there's something to that. Why? Based on your decision, what's your why? If you're choosing Chicago, what's your why as to why you're choosing Chicago over Georgia, Chicago over Texas? Do the comparison. I challenge you all. Homework of the day, honor students. Do a comparison. Look at multiple states. See if you see any commonalities, any common themes between Democrat led states and Republican led states. Just look. You will see some things. You will see some things. You will see some things. So I'm just saying, like, it makes a difference. It does, Just be strategic about where you choose to call home. How about that? Do your research, especially if you have a family, you have children. Do your research. See, it's different when you out here moving in these streets solo dolo, but when you got loved ones, a family, a spouse, a partner, children, you got to think beyond yourself. You have to look at all these different variables. You got to pay attention to all of this. You can't move blindly and be like, oh, I'll just go where the wind blows. You can't do that when you have people who are dependent on you, who are dependent on you returning home, who are dependent on you bringing home a paycheck. You have to be cognizant on where you choose to call home because you got people who are dependent on you. Do your research, figure this out. Some of you may need to pick up and move right now. So this is so as you try to decide, damn, where am I going to move? Start here. How about this? Start doing a comparison. Like I said, compare how a Democrat ran state is moves versus a Republican ran state. Start there. And based off of what's important to you, you make a decision to go that looks the best based off of what's important to you. If it's going to be the quality of schools, is it going to be the quality of schools? Is it going to be the crime rate? Because me as a parent, I'm a parent of 3 raising children. Anytime I've made a decision to move to live someplace, I've just lived in Georgia all my adult life. I moved to Georgia when I was a teenager. My decision has been based off of the quality of the school. My zip code has been based off of the quality of the school. That's and guess what? The quality of the school also is a determining factor of the quality of the neighborhoods surrounding the schools, because the neighborhoods feed into the schools. So if you have a school that performs well, that means that the surrounding neighborhoods are good neighborhoods. They correlate. Like, that goes hand in hand. Research it. Research a zip code. Research the neighborhoods, the income, the tax bracket that the people in that neighborhood is in. Then look at the schools. You will see that communities, nice communities, have schools that perform very well. Because here in Georgia, they don't play when it comes to going to basically they hold. You cannot go to a school outside of your zip code. So it has to be your child can only go to a school when it's a public school. It has to be designated for your community. So if you end up going to a school, your child go to a school that's outside of that radius that's been determined, it has to be pre-approved by the school system, by the county. The school system have to approve it. You can't just say, oh, I don't like this school that my child is zoned to go to, so I'm going to just drive them to the school up the way. In Georgia, it don't work that way. Not for public school. You do what you want with private school. But for public school, it doesn't work that way. For public school, based off of where you live, your zip code, they will tell you what your elementary school option is, what your middle school option is, and what your high school option is. And it's going to be one. And if you choose to not want to send your child to that one, you have to go through a whole approval process and wait for them to tell you yay or nay. Because they can tell you no, they can tell you no, like I've experienced it. They can say yes, they can say no. And if they tell you no, then you, to be in compliance, will have to relocate to that zip code, that zone for the school you want your child to go to. And if you choose to not do it that way and go any other way, which will be deemed illegal, meaning using someone else's address, or you driving, you moved and the school don't know you moved, and you're driving your child still to the other school, you can be held. There can be criminal charges filed against you. They can have your child removed, and they can have you can be arrested. There can be criminal charges filed against you. Like, they do not play here in Georgia when it comes to that. I don't know how they do things where you're from, but in Georgia, they do not play when it comes to your child going to the school that they are zoned for. And they know, because here's the thing. They know, okay, if you got these folks with money, affluent, in these affluent neighborhoods, and they tax money to go into these schools, these people are not going to be with some people just driving from other communities coming into their children's schools and reaping the benefits that they're not paying into. You see what I'm saying? Because if you're driving your child to go to that school, you're not paying into that. You're not. You're not paying. How are you paying into? You're not paying into it because you're not even on record to go to that school. So you're not getting no bill for nothing. Your taxes, nothing is going into that. So that's how it's viewed in Georgia. Your money, your taxes, wherever you live, is paying into whatever that zone the schools are for your community. So that's why only the children for that community can go to that school. So yes, from a logical standpoint, it makes sense. But unfortunately, you have a lot of people who, by circumstances, live in communities, poor neighborhoods that has poor schools, and the parents don't want their children to have a poor education. I get it. There are options for the children to get a better education, but you have to explore those options and make sure you're in compliance. So therefore, your child can get into that better school, and your child is not at risk of getting kicked out, and you're not at risk of going to jail. That's all I'm saying. That is all I'm saying. So with the illegal immigration system, a lot of the schools are filled with children who are here. They either are anchor babies or they're here illegally as well. So with the illegal immigration roundup, it's freeing up jobs as well as classroom space at the schools, resources, all of that. You see what I'm saying? It's a domino effect. It's a domino effect. It's impacting all of that. As Trump remains in office, you should start to see the numbers go down at the schools. Like, really think about it. Based off of how Trump is trying to move, with the legal immigration, even with the whole birthright, like all of that, you should start to see things, the numbers go down just within your communities with the presence of people of certain communities. You'll see it. You'll take notice of it. Some of you probably have already taken notice of it when you go into your community, your local stores, where you used to, see more people that looked a certain way, and you're like, oh, I don't really see them anymore. Why is that? Why is that? Why is that? Have any of you started to see or hear about more job opportunities, more job openings in your communities? Anybody seeing more job opportunities, more places hiring? Not Tim said, not really. More places hiring. Um, I've seen, people talk about it online as far as their experiences in their industries, like in the construction contract and things like that. But just start paying attention to like things like that. Uh, I would say that people who are probably more in blue collar type work will probably take notice of a change more so than somebody in white collar work. Um, People who maybe work in service industry like fast food, customer service, like, they may kind of take notice. So I think it'll make a difference on what industry you're in, because illegal immigrants, you're going to find them heavy in hospitality, agriculture, and construction. You'll also find them heavy at centered around I say car washes, at the car wash. Where else are they? You may see them at mechanic places, oil change places. I don't know how much you see them in schools teaching. I don't know, as far as with the staff at schools, if you'll really see them like that, maybe in the kitchens cooking. But I think, yeah, there are certain industries to where you probably would need to be in to really kind of see it. But remember, Karen Bass was like, she's wanting to give the people in Los Angeles checks because she was like, they're afraid to go to work. So somebody, remember, so let's just use California, Los Angeles as an example. If they're not going to work, who's doing the work? Somebody got to start to do the work. So that means the people, they got to be trying to hire people to come and do the job. In particular in Los Angeles, because she's saying the people are afraid to go to work because they're afraid of ICE, that they're going to get arrested. So it's happening where there's work, there's job opportunities. You just may not have taken notice of it yet in your communities or in your industry, but not all industries are heavy with illegal immigrants. But for those other industries that are, talk to people who you may know that may work in some of those industries to see what they're seeing, what they're saying. Listen, Linda, listen. Food for thought. I'm just putting it out there. I'm just I'm just putting it out there. Yeah, just some things to kind of take into consideration. But I feel like, with getting this whole illegal immigration situation under control, it's going to be for the betterment for the American people at the end of the day, for the American people and our children when it comes to work and job opportunities. It's going to be less people to compete with, smaller classrooms, possibly for many of our children who are in public schools. So, I mean, I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing. So I ain't always here for everything Donald J. Trump does. Y'all know what I'm not here for. But some of you may not. If you don't know what I'm not here for, make sure you subscribe to this channel, because it's a good chance the next live we'll talk about that. But today I wanted to focus on the immigration, because I am here for how the Trump administration is moving when it comes to illegal immigration. Um, I do support that. There's some other things that, Trump is doing I don't support, but I do support illegal immigration. Ronald, what's up? Good morning, everyone. Double tap the screen, like the video. Can we get to 50 likes? Maybe 50 likes. I think, YouTube is playing with my live today, but that's okay. Ronald says, so how it works in Georgia is how it worked everywhere when I was growing up. School of choice did not exist.